Hello everyone, this is Sat Sandeep working as assistant professor in Vignan Nirula in Department of CSC. Today we are going to see here the sorting algorithms. So basically the sorting algorithms have wide variety of applications which starts from a simple sorting algorithm which fetches the highest marks of a given student, or it can be very complex application like say you want to partition a huge data set into individual partitions. So and also you may have some applications by which you have to calculate some mean, median and mode, and this sorting algorithms fuels the searching algorithms. So we have seen in the previous classes different searching algorithms. Basically if you sort the data first, and it is much more efficient for search algorithms to do that. Okay, so let us see some of the search algorithms in this lecture. So here we are going to see a few sorting algorithms, basically 3 sorting algorithms which are very simple and very basic in nature. The first sorting algorithm we are going to see here is the bubble sort, which is very basic and which is the starting point of the sorting algorithms. The next comes the selection sort, and next comes the insertion sort. Okay, so here we are going to study these sorting algorithms. We also study the implementation, how we can implement these sorting techniques in very greater detail, and later we are going to check its time complexities, and we are going to analyze these algorithms in detail. Sorting. What is actually a sorting? So sorting is arranging the elements of a given array or a given set in a particular order. For example, take this one. So here the above array have the elements that is in no particular order. So after sorting we have the elements that are arranged in some particular order, which is like say an ascending order in particular. So like that, so we can arrange any elements in either ascending order or descending order. So this gives the sorting. This is what the sorting is all about. So sorting algorithm. So basically what is a sorting algorithm? Sorting algorithm is the algorithm which takes the set of data and it arranges the data in a particular sequence. It can be an ascending order or it can be a descending order. So now let us see what are the classifications of the sorting techniques. So the sorting algorithms can be broadly classified into 2. Okay, so the first one is depending upon its memory usage and its size and ability. So we are going to categorize into 2. The first one is the internal sorting technique. So the internal sorting technique is meant for sorting the data that is residing in the internal memory. Okay, we are going to sort the data that can fit in the internal memory. So generally used for sorting the small set of records and small set of databases that can fit in the main memory. Okay, so the next one is the external sorting, just the opposite of this. So this is meant for sorting the huge amount of data that can't fit into the main memory. Okay, so if the data cannot be fit into the main memory, so you are obviously using the external sorting. So generally you are going to load this onto the external hard drives or the files, external files, and you are going to give that as an input, and repeatedly you are going to do the sorting techniques until the entire thing gets sorted. Okay, so now here we are in this lecture we are mostly interested in doing the internal sorting. Okay, so let us see the internal sorting mechanisms. The first sorting algorithm we are going to see here is the bubble sort. Bubble sort is a very basic sorting algorithms. So here in bubble sort, every time a element which is having the highest value will be bubbled away to the highest index of the array. So here every iteration it picks the element that is having the highest value and it gonna put at the end of the array. So this way finally the array becomes sorted. So let us see how the bubble sort is implemented, how the bubble sort actually sorts the data. So actually in bubble sort what happens here is, so here in bubble sort we have the pairs of elements. So every time what does it do is, the element with the lower index is compared with the element with the higher index, the consecutive pairs. In the consecutive pairs, the element with the lower index is compared with the element with the higher index. If the lower index value is higher than the higher index value, so then these two elements will be swapped. Okay, this swapping is done until the higher value will be sent to one side of the array. Okay, so this way, if you can see here, every time it bubbles away the highest element to the other side. So this makes the sorted, means finally, so this have so many passes, after last pass the entire array will be sorted. Okay, so let us see how this can be implemented. Here we try to understand the algorithm of the bubble sort by traversing an example. So basically what does this bubble sort do is, okay, every time in every pass, so it gonna bubble out the element that is having the highest value. For example, out of the entire array, 8 is having the highest value, it is already at the highest index. So for example, here out of these 4 elements, 5 is having the highest value. So it has to be bubbled towards its right. Okay, so here it is done all the way in the after this pass. Okay, so 5 is at this position. So again, if you see here, out of these 3 elements, so 4 is the highest one. So after these iterations, so 4 comes here. So the same way, so the next out of 1 and 2, so 2 is the highest one, so 2 comes here. So finally you have the sorted array. So how it actually be done? Okay, let us see with the help of an algorithm. So here in the algorithm, so basically it takes 2 arguments. One is A is nothing but the name of the array, and N is nothing but number of elements the array may have. So now in step 1, what we are going to do is, we are going to repeat step 2 when for I is equals to 0, index I is 0 to n minus 1. Okay, so you are going to repeat step 2 from 0 to n minus 1. So in this case, we are going to repeat the step 2, 0 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 minus 1 is 4. So 0 to 4. Okay, so in step 2, we are going to repeat j, which index j is 0 to n minus 1. So basically here we have a nested loop. The outer loop repeats from index 0 to n minus 1. The inner loop j repeats from 0 to n minus 1. Okay, so every time the inner loop, what does it do is, if a of j is greater than a of j plus 1, so basically j is 0. Okay, a of j means 5 is greater than j plus 1. Yes, 5 is greater than 1. So in this case, what we are going to do, we are going to swap a of j and a of j plus 1. So we are going to swap 5 and 1. So that happened here. Okay, so and again we are going to repeat the loop. So now j becomes 1. Okay, a of j means 5 and a of j plus 1. 5 and 4 are compared. A of j is greater than a of j plus 1. So in this case, what we are going to do, we are going to swap a of j and a of j plus 1, which is 4 and 5 happened here. So in the next iteration, where j becomes 5 and j plus 1 is 2, and j plus 1 is greater than a of j, so these two are swapped. So this happens, okay, until the entire the inner loop from 0 to j is equal to 0 to n minus 1, the entire inner loop is traversed. And once it is done, so the outer loop, it comes back to the outer loop. So outer loop, it starts from I is equals to 0, now I becomes 1. So for I is equals to 1, so the inner loop again starts from j is equals to 0. Okay, so j is equals to 0, and again it gonna compare these two. Okay, j is equals to 0 and j is equals to 1, means j and j plus 1. So 1 and 4 are compared. So since 1 is less than 4, there is no swap. Okay, in the next iteration, 4 and 2 are compared. So since 4 is greater than 2, so there will be a swap. So likewise, the entire algorithm, each pass is repeated. So these passes are repeated n times. Okay, in every pass, so you have n iterations. Okay, so this ends the bubble sort. Let us see the time complexity of the bubble sort. So basically, The time complexity of any sorting algorithms is nothing but number of comparisons it gonna make to sort the entire data. So now let us see with the bubble sort. So basically, first of all, let us see how many passes does the bubble sort makes. So generally a bubble sort makes n minus 1 passes. Okay. So now for each n minus 1 passes, for each pass, suppose take the first pass, how many comparisons are made? So in the first pass it makes n minus 1 comparisons. Okay. So in the next pass, so basically we are going to omit one element because it is already sorted. So it makes n minus 2 comparisons, and next pass it gonna take n minus 3 comparisons. So likewise, so total number of comparisons it is like n into n minus 1 by 2 comparisons, which is the order of n square comparisons. So here the time complexity of the bubble sort is order of n square, okay, which is a bit higher. Okay. So now let us see what are the main advantages of the bubble sort. So the advantages of the bubble sort is it is actually simple to implement. Okay. So it doesn't require much coding expertise in order to implement that. So the second advantage is, so it is helps for a small set of data. It is very much better suited for the small set of data. The next sorting technique which we are going to see here is the selection sort. Okay, in selection sort, each time element that is having the smallest value of the entire array is selected, and it gonna put it in the first position in the first pass. The next smallest element will be kept in the next position of the lowest index. So let us see this. So if you see here, so every time it picks the element that is having the smallest value, and the smallest value will be kept in the starting index. Okay, and the next smallest value will be put in the next index. Likewise, so after many iterations, the entire array will be sorted. Okay, so this is the simplest another simplest sorting technique. Now let us understand the selection sort with an example. Okay, so basically your selection sort, if you see here, what happens here is it is just opposite of the bubble sort. In the bubble sort, what we have done is every time we bubble the largest element towards the right. Here in the selection sort, every time we will select the element which is having the smallest value, and we will put that in the left. Okay, so here if you see here, in the entire array the smallest element is 2. So we have to select this 2 and we have to keep it in the leftmost element. Okay, in the lowest index possible. So 2 is kept in the lowest index. Next, out of this 5 means 2 is swapped with 7. Alright, so now out of this 5, 4, 7, so which is having the lowest value? So 4 is having the lowest value. So it will be swapped with the next lowest index, so which is 1. Okay, like this. So like this, so the entire elements are swapped, elements are sorted finally. Okay, now let us traverse this algorithm. So this algorithm is divided into 2 parts. Okay, so basically what we need here, every time we need to know the smallest element. Okay, that's what this function do. Okay, we have a function called as smallest, which actually reads the entire array every time it traverses the entire array. Okay, and picks the one which is smallest. Okay, and feed to this function. Okay, so let us see. So here this function which actually sort, so repeat step 2 and 3 for k is equal to 0 to n minus 1. Okay, so initially we have an index that starts from k to n minus 1. So what does it do? Every time this repeats, okay, step 2 repeats, it call the smallest. Okay, so now let us see the smallest function. It calls the smallest function. So what are the arguments that we have with the smallest function? So you have ARR. ARR is nothing but array name. Okay, and k is the index. Okay, and n is the number of elements the array have, and pos is the position. Okay, means it has to return the
position of the smallest index. Okay, the one which is having the smallest value, that position has to be returned. So now let us see this function. So basically the first two steps are the initialization steps. So initially we are going to set the small is equal to AR of k. So k is initially 0 here. So AR of k, okay, so small is initially 7. Okay, so next position equals to k. So position equals to 0. Okay, now step 3 is repeated. So we are going to repeat this. So until j is equal to k plus 1 to n. Okay, so we are going to traverse j from k plus 1, k is 0, from 1 to n. Okay, so each time what we are going to do, we are going to compare small with j. So basically what we are doing here is, every time we are going to take a small, we take a small element, we are going to see whether there is another element that is much more smaller than that element. If we find that element, so we are going to make it as a small, mark it as a small. So let us see here. So array of j, if small is greater than array of j, so initially the small is 7. Okay, is greater than array of j? Yes, it is greater than. So 7 is greater than 5. So in this case what we are going to do, small is equal to array of j. So now small becomes 5. Okay, so and position equals to j, and what is the position now? The smallest element position is 1. Okay, so and this loop actually repeats itself. So and now this becomes actually j. Okay, and 5 is greater than 4, and now this becomes small, 4 becomes small. Okay, and the next iteration, okay, so 4 is basically less than 2, and the smallest element here is out of the entire array is 2. So this function returns actually the index of that. What is the index here for 2? 3. Okay, so now what is done by this function is, so it's gonna swap a of k with array of position. Array of position is what? 2. Position is actually 3. Okay, so we are going to swap the elements at array of position. So we are going to swap the element at 2 with what? A of k. K is initially 0. So we are going to swap the element at 2 and 7th position. So that's what happened here. Okay, in the next iteration k becomes 1, because k becomes 1. So this is where the k starts again. Okay, again in this part of array, so you are going to pick the one which is having the smallest value. That is done by this function, and it returns the index value here, and it's gonna swap, which is 4 and 5 are swapped. So this repeats, okay, until this function means k from 0 to n minus 1. Okay, so this is how your selection sort works.
This is also one of the simplest sorting techniques. So let us see its time complexity. So here in the first pass, so here first of all you need to search for the element that is having the smallest value. For that, so we need to have n minus 1 comparisons. So in the next iteration you need to have n minus 2 comparisons. In the next iteration we need to have n minus 3 comparisons. So like that, so the total number of comparisons we have to do is n into n minus 1 by 2. So it is n square. So the time complexity of this sorting algorithm as well with the bubble sort algorithm is same like your bubble sort algorithm. It is n square, order of n square. So you may ask me whether it is having a best case. So it doesn't have any best case. Even the entire sorting algorithm, entire data is in a sorted order, so it will have the same time complexity. Okay. So now let us see what are the advantages of this sorting algorithm. So the first advantage is it is simple. The algorithm implementation is very simple. And the next advantage is it is meant for having the small set of data. Okay, and compared to bubble sort, it is 60% faster. So that is the primary advantage of this sorting algorithm compared to the bubble sort. The third sorting algorithm which we are going to see here is the insertion sort. So basically insertion sort works in the principle of your playing cards. So in playing cards, every time you pick a card and you are going to insert the card in appropriate position. So here also, every time you pick an element which is from the unsorted list. So here we are going to partition the data into sorted and unsorted list. Every time you pick the data from the unsorted list or pick an element from the unsorted list and you are going to insert into the sorted list in appropriate position. Okay, so here, so every time you are going to have the element that is in the unsorted list or in the same array, the one which is having the large index. So every time you pick an element from here and you are going to insert into the sorted list, already sorted list. So likewise, the entire we are going to repeat this until the entire array gets sorted. Okay, so let us see how this can be implemented. And see here, every time the main principle here is, every time you are going to take the first element in the unsorted list and try to insert it into the sorted list. Okay, let us visualize this sorting algorithm, insertion sort, with an example. Suppose we have the card which have the value 9. So there is one more some other cards which are already in sorted order. So every time what we are going to do is, so we are going to compare this unsorted which is 9 to the other cards. So here in the first iteration we are going to compare that card with the 36, and since 36 is greater than 9, so we are going to put that 36 aside, creating a room for 9. And in the next iteration we are going to compare this 9 with 24, and here since 24 is greater than 9 and it also kept aside, leaving the room. And in the next iteration this 9 is compared with 10. So obviously 9 is less than 10, this card is moved aside. And now finally 9 is compared with 6, and here, so since 6 is less than 9, so here we find the position. So this card must be inserted between 6 and 10. So it will be inserted back like that.
Now we see the insertion sort with an example. So we are going to traverse this insertion sort algorithm with an example. So basically what does the insertion sort do is, okay, it partition the given array into two parts. Okay, this part which you are seeing here is unsorted array, and this part, okay, let me show you here. This part is the sorted array. Okay, 6, 7, 9, okay, 15, this is the sorted array. Okay, and this part 17, 5, 10, 11 is the unsorted array, unsorted part. So every time it selects, it takes the element from the unsorted, first element in from the unsorted array, and it gonna compare with the elements of the sorted array, so that it puts this element, unsorted element, in appropriate position. In this case 17 is greater than 15, it gonna reside in the same place. For example, take 5. So where I have to insert 5? 5 is greater than 17? No. So 17 moves here, and 5 is less than 15, 15 moves here, and 5 is less than 9, 9 moves here, and 5 is less than 7, 7 moves here, and 5 is less than 6, 6 moves here, and now we find a room here for 5, and 5 will be kept here. So like this. So this is how your insertion sort works. So now let us traverse this algorithm and let us see how the insertion sort works. Basically your insertion sort takes two arguments, which is array, which is the array itself, given array, and the n is nothing but the number of elements in the array. Okay, so now the step 1. In step 1 we are going to repeat step 2 to 5. Okay, this 2 to 5 for k is equals to index. So k is the index that starts from 1 to n. Okay, basically the k value is initially 1. Okay, because k starts at 1. Now we are having a temp. Okay, a temporary, we take a temporary variable, so which is array of k. Okay, which is the element at index k. So what is the element at index k? 7. So k is 1 and the temp value is 7. And now the third step is set j is equal to k minus 1. So k is actually 1, j is equal to k minus 1 means j is equal to 1 minus 1, that is 0. And now this fourth step is really important. So now what we are going to do here, we are going to compare the temp value with array of j. So temp value is actually 7. 7 is compared with 9. Okay, is 7 less than 9? Yes, 7 is less than 9. In that case, what we are going to do, we are going to move this 9 towards its right. Okay, we are going to replace this 7 by 9. Okay, we are going to move one index right. Okay, so AR of j plus 1 is equal to AR of j. AR of j plus 1 means in place of this AR of j plus 1, we are going to put 9. Okay, and after that j is equal to j minus 1. So j is equal to 0 and j is equal to j minus 1 means j becomes minus 1. Okay, and now what we are going to do after this, so set array of j plus 1 equal to temp. AR of j plus 1 means j is equal to minus 1 plus 1 is 0. So AR of j plus 1 equal to temp. Temp actually is 7. So in place of AR of j, so you put 7. So 7 comes to this position and 9 goes to this position. Okay, so let us traverse the same algorithm to this. Okay, for this. Okay, yeah. So here k is equal to 5 and j is equals to 4. Okay, so now temp less than a of j. So j is equal to 4, temp is actually 5. 5 is less than 4 AR of j means 5 is less than 17. Yes, 5 is less than 17. In that case, what we are going to do? We are going to set AR of j plus 1 equal to AR of j. Means in place of this AR of j, we are going to put, in place of AR of j plus 1, we are going to put AR of j. Means in place of 5, we are going to put 17. Okay, this loop actually repeats again. Okay, while temp less than AR of j. So again, what is the temp? 5. 5 is less than AR of j. So now j is this one. J is equals to j minus 1. So now j is actually this one. So is temp. Temp 5 is less than 15. Yes, 5 is less than 15. So now again 5 is moved one element right. Okay. So that means this 15 is moved one element right. So 15 goes here. So again temp is compared with j will be decremented, right? Now this is the j value. So now again 5 is compared with 9. Okay, 5 is less than 9, right? So again what happens? This 9 moves one element right. So 9 goes here. Okay, and now j value will be again decremented. So now j is actually pointing to 7. So now 5 is compared with 7. So since 5 is less than 7, 7 will be moved one element right, like this. And again, okay, j value will be decremented and now j is pointing to the first element. And now 5 is means the temp value is again compared with this 6, and since it is 6 is greater, so it is moved one element right. Like how it is done? AR of j plus 1 equal to AR of j. So in place of AR of j plus 1, you are putting AR of j. So and now we have j equal to j minus 1. So j is equal to minus 1 because previous j value is 0 and j is equals to j minus 1 means j is equal to minus 1. So in place of AR of j plus 1 means AR of j plus 1 means AR of 0 plus 1 is minus 1 plus 1 means 0. So what we are going to put? Temp. So here in case temp is what? 5. So this is how your insertion sort works.
Let us talk about the time complexity of the insertion sort. So basically your insertion sort have a best case and as well as worst case. So let us talk about the best case. Suppose all the entire data is in a sorted order. So what happens is every time you try to insert an element, and we are going to compare with the consecutive element, the previous element. So, and there won't be any swapping done. So here, so the entire element, there is only one pass. So it takes only order of n. Okay. So let us take in a worst case. In a worst case where the elements are in a reverse order. Okay. In that case, so every time what you are going to do is you are going to make the comparison with n minus 1 elements. Okay. So every time you pick an element from unsorted data and you are going to add it to a sorted data, and every time you are going to make these comparisons n minus 1, n minus 2 and so on, so which brings the time complexity to order of n square. Okay, let us see the advantages of insertion sort. So basically the first and foremost advantage of insertion sort, which doesn't which the other algorithms may not have, is it is actually online. Online here is let us have a discussion here. So online means, so every time you get an element, okay, so get a new element, so it can be inserted into the sorting list. So on the go it can accept any number of elements. So that's the main the importance of your insertion sort. The next one is it is twice as fast as your bubble sort. The next one is it takes very less memory. So it is actually in place. In place means in the same place itself you can sort the algorithm, sort the entire data. Okay, and it is much more efficient for small sorted lists. And also if the list is already sorted and it is this sorting algorithm is very much efficient, as we already seen, it can give in order of n. So let us summarize what we have learned today. So here we have covered 3 different sorting techniques, in which the first sorting technique is the bubble sort. So in the bubble sort we have seen what exactly the bubble sort is and how it is implemented, and also we have seen its time complexity, and you understand that the bubble sort have the highest time complexity and which is not much efficient. The next one is the selection sort. Here in the selection sort we have seen what is a selection sort, and also we have seen the implementation of selection sort, and also we have seen the performance comparison with the bubble sort, and which is very much good compared to the bubble sort. And the last sorting technique is the insertion sort we have seen, and we have seen what are the advantages of this insertion sort over the above sorting techniques, and also we have seen how efficient is this insertion sort compared to all the other sorting techniques. Thank you.